did you make of Patrick Mahomes' performance yesterday?
Besides the early turnover, fumble, I think he played really well. Made the right throws, ran when he needed to run. I think Chiefs did a better job on 4 downs.
What are you like when you watch things other than your own? Are you a yell at the TV kind of guy? Or are you like way back and there's a drink? How are you as a sports fan?
I think it depends on the sport, but basketball and hockey are kind of similar for me. High tempo, I just like to usually watch and analyze the game. But for me, football, especially I try to, if you have NFL Red Zone, you can kind of watch it from different angles on the field, not just the one that's kind of the horizontal view. You can kind of see what they see. And I play a lot of Madden, which is the video game version of NFL. So I try to learn a thing or two just from real life concepts to implement the video games.
Do you like it when the people next to you want to talk about the game, or do you just want to focus on your play?
It depends. It's different people. Some people just yell just because of the emotion of the game, and they don't really know what they're saying. And so I'm not a big fan of that. But if you actually kind of know what's kind of going on, then it's cool to hear people's knowledge.
You obviously had a long layoff. Wondering, what are the things you noticed that maybe you might not have noticed if you were playing from watching, from watching on the side versus being on the court?
Yeah, first and foremost, just how much joy I have when I get to play. Having the absence that I had, not being able to compete at all, just kind of shows you how much love and joy you have for the game, regardless of, if you're playing good or bad, just the joy of being out there and how grateful we are. And from a team's perspective, things kind of just slow down when you get to watch for 48 minutes on the bench, and you see things a little bit differently. And I think it's helped me just in these past 2 games, just kind of be more of myself.
And you looked more settled down than you did earlier this season, more comfortable with what you're trying to do, and more purposeful. Is that accurate to say?
Yeah.
What, going back to what you said, just in terms of what you saw from the sideline, what are some of the things that you're able to apply in real time the last couple of games that you noticed?
Yeah, I think there's a bunch of things. First and foremost, just making the game easier for myself, whether that be off closeouts because I'm out there with Dennis or Steph, or if I'm on the ball, just seeing pick and rolls and their development slower for me, seeing the pictures more from the tags and whatnot. So I think just a bunch of those things, shooting the ball, knowing that I can get a shot off and, less than 1% of the NBA is going to block my shot. So just being able to shoot with confidence and just let it go when I'm open.
How much were you able to work on your jump shot while you were recovering?
A decent amount. There's baby steps with running, with moving. But I try to, shoot every day and try to get better. And I think me and my trainer, we started to work on my jump shot a lot end of November, early December. And I think since then I've been shooting pretty well. So.
What were some things that you two worked on mechanically?
Yeah, I think just being solid, meaning just early in the season, I would shoot kind of tail off one way or the other. So just being solid and, especially in workouts, having the mindset of shooting every shot like it's your last shot. And so sometimes in a workout you get in the habit of you're shooting so much, you take reps off in the sense of you get lazy with the things you're trying to work on. And in the game, it's you only get one shot to do it in that moment. And so quality over quantity, I would say, in workouts, and just, being purposeful of what I want to accomplish in terms of, my form, what it looks like, how it feels, all those type of things.
When you're talking about being more solid, that's more like lower half, right?
I think it's a combination of both. I think, shooting's a complex thing because, there's an association with the bottom and lower half, and everything kind of, has to be in sync. And it's not necessarily meaning a one-motion shot, but it's everything has to kind of flow in order for the ball to be, spinning the way it wants to spin, shooting the way it wants to shoot.
When you look at the standings, realize that you guys are way lower than you want to be, but you're not that far from being in a pretty good place. What do you take from that, from seeing that?
Yeah, it's opportunity. It's a good place to be. I think now, at this point of the season, nobody really expects us to do much just based on what our record is now, and so it's a lot of play freeness that we get to have. But I think we have a good opportunity. Guys are just starting to get back healthy. Dre and JK are the only two we're missing right now, and so I think it gives us a good opportunity. We're going to have some home games here to finish up January, and then go on the road for a bunch of February, and so I think it gives us a great chance to finish where we want to finish. And between us and the 4 seed, it's not that big of a gap.
Do you like the way the West is congested like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. The chance it gives you guys, or?
I mean, yeah. Even if it stayed this way through, the end of March, you're here April 1st, and you're like, we still have a chance to be the 4 seed.
Can you give me a shooter's perspective on what Steph Curry is going through right now? Like, what happens if you limit the right thumb of the shooter's hand?
I mean, from his perspective, I can't tell you that exactly, just because my thumb and his thumb are probably different in how we hold the ball, and what it feels like coming off our hands. But in college, in Santa Clara, I had hurt my left thumb, and it's tricky because you put the wrap on it, and then the same feeling that you get when you hold the ball when you don't have it on is different than when a wrap is touching the ball, and so that's definitely different for him. And then you put that with teams are throwing 2 guys at him, the difficult shots he has to take and does take. You add all that together, and it's not a formula for success. But like he said 2 nights ago, he went 8 for 8 with it. So he's going to figure it out. I know he will.
He's not here to ask, so thank you.
Yeah.
And then when you were in the booth with Fitz and Buki, I think you were talking about the mental side of going through long injury. I think you said it made you get back in touch with God. As you think about the mental side of things, does an injury like that force you to take a reset? Because it seemed like you came back around to a sense of appreciation.
It does, because for me at least, and I know a lot of guys in the league, when things go wrong, they just revert to basketball. And basketball can be your savior. It can be a place you go when things are bad to get your mind right. And for me, I didn't have that for whatever that was, 3 weeks. And so those tough times that you have when you're not able to do what you want to do, you got to find somebody to connect with. And I think God was good for me, and so I really started a kind of a new journey in that perspective. And so it's been working. It's been good.
Do you see Jonathan Kuminga going through some lonely days? You can't really do anything physically right now, so you stay fresh mentally.
Yeah, I think it was kind of similar. Obviously, we had a little layover with each other, being injured for a little bit there. And so, we talk about all the time. He's going on his 3 weeks just about now. And so it's tough. And I know, just from that 3 weeks, it's definitely lonely, and it's definitely, especially if you haven't been injured like I have, and I don't think he has for a long time either. Having to go through something like that, and not being able to have the answers, to be able to go back out there, it's tough.
Steve was in here earlier, and he said that one of the things he wants to see is he wants you guys to be more consistent playing at a pace. Mm-hmm. That's something that you've been known to do. How do you look at your role in making that happen?
I think whenever I get the opportunity, I try my best to do so. If I'm out there with Dennis or Steph, I try to remind them to try to have that same urgency. But I think it's just, if your teammates out there see you doing it, the other 4 guys, I think they don't really have a choice. If they see me racing the ball up the floor, all 4 of them are just going to stand behind me and just walk or jog up the court. So I think it's on the point guards to have that sense of urgency, because if you lead and you're urgent in bringing the ball up, the team has no other choice but to follow you.
You had mentioned a couple minutes ago some of the schemes that Steph is seeing, the doubles and whatnot. What are the keys to countering those as a team?
Yeah, I think you go back to our first half in Sacramento. It's giving him outlets. It's coming to the ball. Steve had a great analogy, just like in football, if a quarterback's scrambling and guys are coming at him, you don't run away from the ball, you come to the ball. So just giving him outlets, and I think in the Sacramento game we did a good job of that, and we were able to play 4-on-3 and get a good shot every time. And then in the second half we started to turn it over. But give credit to Steph. He's really good at getting the ball out. And some people that's hard to do. But it's tough, especially when you're seeing traps every time, and it's hard to catch a rhythm score and shoot the ball.
When you watch QP doing what he's been doing lately, how do you feel about seeing a kid, older than you, but when you see a rookie come in and actually make a contribution to the team?
Yeah, I love it because I think I've been telling the PD staff and the coaches maybe about a month or two now that we should play him with Steph because it kind of alleviates those double teams because he can shoot the ball really well. And so now you see a lot of teams, the Lakers started switching it, and now he's big body, or you have a 5-man on Steph. And so if they double Steph, then he has wide open 3. You saw it in the Chicago game, hit 5 of them. And so I'd expect teams to put more wings on QP naturally. But it's good for our team. It's good for our spacing. It helps everybody on the floor.
Have you ever been down to Santa Cruz as a fan to watch some teammates?
I haven't. I plan to go down there soon.
You cracked us up the other day. You were talking about the bench and the young guys. We're like, you are the youngest.
I am the youngest still. It's unfortunate. Yeah.